Well, these days, nearly everyone has a cell phone, and many are getting them at earlier ages. But should kids be allowed to have them in the classroom? That's the debate the Savannah-Chatham County School Board faced today. What did they decide? News 3's Andrew Davis has all the details in tonight's education report. Andrew, this is a policy change that has been brought up before.
Yeah, they actually brought it up just last year, but tabled it and then just never went back to it. This time, board members wanted to debate the issue. That is after getting a few extra weeks to talk to teachers and parents about the idea. Now, that proposal would change the school policy banning cell phones from schools and even allowing them in the classroom. Superintendent Thomas Lockamy believes it could be beneficial to students. Having information at their fingertips using equipment most kids already have in their backpacks. Now, while many board members agreed with Dr. Lockamy, some wondered about the students who don't have a cell phone already. And what about teachers? How will they patrol their use to stop cheating or texting and still teach the class?
There are all kinds of things that these students can do, and that we really cannot look back at the classrooms that we recall were wonderful classrooms. We have to look forward.
The comments that I received were completely opposite. I mean, literally for 2 days, I had teachers approach me in various public places saying, "Thank you for holding firm. It's going to be hard to manage. It's hard enough to manage now, even though they're not allowed in school. We're not going to be able to decide, when to enforce the policy, when to accept an excuse for the use of the phone."
This is a way to not demonize this tool and therefore make it more attractive to students. It's a mechanism to make them look at it as a tool rather than just a toy.
No, in the end, the board was overwhelmingly in favor of the change. The vote was 8-1 to allow cell phones in the classroom. That's policy that'll start next school year. Of course, several private schools in our area, including St. Andrews and St. Vincent's, may have started this debate. Within the past year, they both started using iPads in the classrooms. Smartphones would be the next step in increasing technology for both teachers and students. Dr. Lockamy says for students who don't have cell phones already, many schools have CALs or computers on wheels that could be shared and used by several students. And Russ, the district plans to buy iPads for other classrooms just to help that learning experience too.
Well, did they outline how the new policy will be enforced?
Well, they didn't actually, Russ. That's the difference. Is at the start, it's going to be up to each teacher, each classroom, how cell phones will be allowed, or if they're even allowed inside the classroom. Then maybe after a few months or by the end of the next school year, I have a feeling we'll be bringing this back up to see what guidelines we need to play with.
But if the teacher wants it, it's a go.
It's up to them.
All right. Well, this is a story that had many of you talking on our Facebook page. Andrea writes, "As a teacher, I will not allow students to use their phone in my classroom. I feel that it will be a distraction, and therefore I will be putting specific rules about cell phones in my syllabus." Jody writes, "I allowed my son to take his cell phone to school. With all the crazy things that go on with students bringing guns onto school property, it gave me peace of mind knowing he could call me anytime if there was an emergency." John adds, "The teachers will need training on how to effectively use devices in the classroom. When used properly, cell phones can be a great learning tool. If used improperly, then it will be a disruption in the classroom." And finally, Ashley writes, "Allowing a child to use a cell phone in class is helping them gain a habit. It will continue when they get in the car and start texting." As always, we appreciate your thoughts, and you can still join in. Just go to WSAV's Facebook page and hit the like button. Also decided today, all high school students will switch to a 7-period day next year. That means an additional 15 minutes will be added to their seat times. It's a change that students will feel all through the district because it all revolves around transportation and getting kids to school on time.
Transportation in part has a large driving force in making the bell schedules because we knew that we had to make the 15-minute adjustment for the high schools, keeping transportation routes and groupings in mind, which caused us to have to make adjustments to all of our school bell times.
Parents around the district had the opportunity to take part in a telephone survey to choose the new times. In Schedule A, high schoolers start early at 7:30 in the morning, whereas younger elementary students would start later. Proposal B was just the opposite and was less popular with parents. Proposal A received 65% of the votes. The price of school meals is also going up 15 cents. Now breakfast for elementary through high school will be $1.15. Lunch for elementary and middle school students will now cost $2.15. Lunch for high school students will now cost $2.40.